using the Shape tool from the Workspace toolbar. The Shape tool is the one that has the triangle, the circle, and the square on it. So when I select on that one, I have properties down below. The properties on the left-hand side are going to cover the outside of the shapes. The properties on the right-hand side will cover the insides of the shapes. So you can see I can change the colors, I can change the thickness of the lines, I can change which kind of lines they are, and I can change the transparency. So over here I can change the inside color, I can change the transparency, and then here is where I'm actually going to have my preview window. To change shapes, I simply select on that and choose whichever shape I would like. I'll stick with the circle for now. I'm going to make the outside of my circle red. I want to make that a little bit thicker so I can see that red better. And then it's a simple tap and drag, and it creates those shapes for me. And I can make them small, I can make them large. And if I want to change shapes, all I do is I click on the different shapes. When I do that, it's going to go back to the last property setting that I had for that shape. If I go back to that circle, you can see because I stored it as the blue with the red outline, that's how it stays. Using the freehand shape tool within the Workspace software. I'm going to select on the freehand shape tool from my toolbar, and much like our freehand text takes our handwriting and turns it to text writing, our freehand shape tool, when we draw a shape, will convert it to a perfect version of that shape. Down here you'll notice I have all of my properties. I can change the color of my lines. If I don't like the 5 predetermined colors, I can select on the color palette, and that will bring me other colors that I can use. I can change the thickness, I can change the transparency, I can choose which type of line ends I would like, and I can also choose which kind of line I would prefer. And once I'm ready, I simply just start drawing my shapes, and they will pop into perfect versions of those shapes. I can draw a right triangle, for example, and it'll pop into a right triangle, or the square, or I can do a rectangle and an oval. So you can see that you don't have to be perfect when you draw yours, because it will snap in to a perfect version of that shape. Using the Stamper tool within the Workspace software. I'm going to select my Stamper tool from my toolbar, and down at the bottom I have 2 options of stamps that I can use. These preset stamps allow me to use any that are currently in here, so if I wanted to grab my cherries, for example, and then wherever I tap on my screen, cherries are going to appear. Once I have my stamps there, I can click on my selection tool. I can resize it, I can drag it around other places on the page, or I can select it and cut it if I don't want it there. The other option I have is choosing my own stamp from a file. So I'm going to choose the picture of one of my cats that I want to use to stamp. And now when I stamp, it will bring up the picture of my cat. And I can resize this. I can also rotate it. So now, for instance, if you wanted to use this with your students, you could take pictures of your students, and then you could have this up on the board, and when they come in for school each day, they could grab a pen and they circle their picture.